Hello, and welcome back to our channel. Today I'm a unicorn.
Here we go! This night, you're gonna find...
Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Miss Unfortunate and you are about to view a speed build that I created, and it is Jack Skellington's house. Yes, my Nightmare Before Christmas fans, get ready to check that out. And I've not really seen it attempt since I think 2016, so I hope it do it justice with all the new items that we have and all the abilities that we have and whatnot. Just a real quick reminder, next week will be my YouTube of Horrors competition. Please be sure you guys mark out some time in your calendars to watch all all of my competitors' videos. They have been working so hard on that, and I'm so excited to see it, and I'm so excited to just binge watch it for Halloween and get spooked out. But without further ado, my friends, let's go ahead and get right on into this speed build, and let's enter Jack Skellington. Alright guys, we are starting on the build right now, and this build discussion is going to be a little bit different than my usual because I really want to talk about a little bit about Nightmare Before Christmas. I know the movie is going on, I think, oh gosh, it came out in 90 or 93, I can't remember, which is really bad because I'm a huge fan, but I wanted to discuss the beauty of this movie. So right now we're just building Jack Skellington's house, and the way that the story is, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it because the movie is pretty much gonna be 30 years old soon, and I think if you haven't seen it, then that's your loss. So the movie is basically about the Pumpkin King, or the King of Halloween, if you will, and he pretty much discovers Christmas and falls in love with it, Jeez, talk, and basically has to come to terms with the fact that his place is not trying to be Santa Claus, his place has to be the Pumpkin King. So the whole story is kind of him trying to figure out where his place is. He's so tired of being the Pumpkin King, but at the end of the movie he kind of realizes that that is his place. Everyone has their place. Along the way he has a wonderful character named Sally trying to help him. She is in love with him, of course. She is a doll that was created by a scientist, and she is actually all sewed up. She can jump from really high places, break into pieces, and then sew herself back together, so she's pretty cool. The interesting thing about this film is that it took 3 years to create, because I do believe it was either the first or the most popular stop animation. It took, let's see, I have some facts pulled up. The stop motion musical took 24 frames a second. So they had to take a character and pose them 24 different times for 1 second of that musical, which that musical, the very opening, I believe, or the ending, I can't remember, it's one of the songs, consists of, no, this is the entire movie, I'm sorry guys, I'm not getting these facts right at all. 110,000 frames. So 1 minute of the movie required an entire week of filming, which of course adds up to the whole 3 years of how long this movie took. There were only 4 people that were actually creating these characters. So what stop motion is, and I'm sorry if I'm all over the place, you guys, I'm super excited, as you can tell. I absolutely love this, and I am pretty happy with the way that I made his house. So anyways, the amount of work that had to go into this movie was so crazy. I think they had like 4 different realistic copies of each character, and I think there were 75 different characters in the movie. And then for Jack, Sally, any of the really main characters that you saw a lot, they all had different faces and different heads. I think Jack had a total of 45 different heads, and Sally had a different of like 50 or 60 different masks for every expression. And they only had 4 people sculpting all of that. And then they had 13 animators, I believe, and it took them 3 years to do the whole movie. But man, it is the most iconic movie when it comes to Halloween and Christmas. I do believe even to this year, I sell so much Nightmare Before Christmas stuff in my own company. Like, it's just so crazy. It's such a huge seller still, no matter what. It's just such an iconic movie. If you guys haven't seen it, I really recommend seeing it just for the pure beauty of how the movie was made. It definitely aged very well just because of the way that they did it. I mean, everything looks real because it is real. It's just a bunch of dolls that they took tons of pictures of and then made this beautiful movie out of it. So yeah. So anyways, to the build now. Here we are trying to replicate Jack Skellington's house, and his house is very iconic because there are scenes in the movie where when he's really obsessed with Christmas, he brings a bunch of Christmas stuff back to Halloween Town into his house, and he starts kind of going into a laboratory and trying to figure out what is Christmas, what does it mean, why do I feel this way, why do I feel happy and warm when I think about this stuff. And there's a whole scene of him whenever he finds Christmas Town, and it just makes him feel so happy that he feels like, you know, he wants to be Santa Claus now, which just, it kind of blows up in his face. And you guys know the whole kind of tell about it. And like I said, if you guys haven't seen the movie, go watch it. Go do yourself a favor and watch it. No matter how old you are, you can go and watch that movie. It is a musical, but it is a very gothic, and Danny Elfman makes the music, so there's a little bit of an idea. And of course, Tim Burton. Tim Burton, so you know it's gotta be good. It's one of his not very first movies, of course not, but definitely made his name a lot more sparkly. Right here I'm using a lot of debug items, and I'm really hoping that I'm not shouting into the mic. I got so freaking excited. If I am, I'll try to like turn it down while I'm editing the film, but I'm sorry I get excited. But anyways, for this I'm using a bunch of debug items for the fencing. I actually downloaded the movie because I have no idea where my original copy is, and I was doing a lot of pausing and starting, and there's actually not a lot of footage of his house. Now, I don't know why I thought there would be. Maybe it's just because I've seen it so many other places. Like, I know, for example, in the new Kingdom Hearts 2, you actually get to go and meet Jack Skellington and fight with him and everything, and I think you get to see his house there, as well as the Professor, Sally's father or creator. And yeah, you don't really get to see the house too terribly much, but people have created figures of the house. There's a lot of Pop Funko figures of it, and paintings and drawings, and in all of them, and I'll try and put a few of them up here on the screen if I can find any that I'm allowed to. A lot of them, the house is really like, it's really creepily created. Like, the proportions are crazy. There's a lot of like upside down triangle-age happening. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, but yes, so the roofing is like all weird and crazy, and then there's this really weird tower that's like sticking out by a hallway that he uses a ladder to get up, I guess, but there's no way I could create that in The Sims. So what I did was I took this the pipe, you see it right there. I know we're so far ahead of the creation, but I was talking about the movie while we were doing that. But so I took that pipe. I forget, I think it's from City Living. I think I take the pipe and I use the mod tool to tilt it 45 degrees, and then I just plop the tower on top of it. So it kind of gives it the look of what I was going for his house, because he does have that weird tower, and I believe up in the tower is where his bed is, and the fireplace, the iconic Christmas tree, and Zero, his dog. I have a little dog bed up there and everything. It doesn't look exact, guys, because if I did the space I would need to make it look exactly the way it does in the movie would be a lot more than I had. But anyways, right here we're doing the landscaping, and this is another thing that actually does not exist in the movie. In the movie, there's no trees behind his house. It's just a bunch of just dead, I believe there's a graveyard behind there and everything, which we're actually going to put in a graveyard right here on this little slope, because the graveyards in that movie are very iconic. And even when I was playing Kingdom Hearts 2, there was a lot of battles and stuff that took place in the graveyard. So the graveyard is used a lot in the movies, games, artwork, whatever you want to do. So I definitely wanted to add a graveyard, but it is not the one that has the iconic slope with the swirl at the end of it. I'm sure if I had a lot of time, I could figure out how to do that, but it would take so much mental power. And I just, at the point, I think it was like maybe at this point right here where I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to finish this build now, because I spent so long on it. I think I spent longer longer on it than my last build, which is insane because this build is nowhere near as big as the last build as far as structure-wise goes, but I was so afraid of not being able to do it exactly accordingly to the movie. And then there was just a point where I was just like, I'm not going to be able to do it, so I just made it the best I could. I added what Jack Skellington means to me, which is a lot of pumpkins. So yes, we have another pumpkin patch, but this time it looks like it's a little bit dead, and I thought maybe our little Patchy could maybe be a little bit of Jack. Maybe Jack's just hanging out there with his pumpkins, because at the very beginning of the Nightmare Before Christmas movie, the very first thing you see, I believe, is Jack Skellington, and he is a scarecrow hanging on his branch, and he swings around and points to the direction of Halloween Town. That is Jack Skellington, and I thought it would be really cute to just kind of add Patchy in there to make it look like that's Jack. So there's that, the story behind that. And right here we're just continuing the patch, and of course a lot of transitioning happening just because I want to be able to get through everything. And I did decorate the inside of the home. I actually decorated the inside so you could use it with your sim. I do need to player test it, but I will be sure to do it before I upload it, so don't worry. If anything major has to change, I'll let you know, but probably not. As far as I can tell, everything on the bottom floor worked, and my sim was able to get to the second floor as well. Do keep in mind the tower is unreachable unless you are a vampire, witch, or wizard, I believe. Whichever of the sims can teleport or have that ability, or if you have the fitness or the wellness or whatever it is, you need to be able to teleport to the tower to use it, and that is where the bed is. But that is the only thing useful up there. So you can put like a bed downstairs temporarily if you really want to play and work up to being able to teleport, or if you just want to start using this right off the bat, or if you just want to put it in your game as a scene for your next machinima, or however you say that word. And here we are just finishing up some landscaping, and we're about to do one of the iconic graveyards. And what I did with this graveyard is I actually put Zero, his dog. He has a dog named Zero, and he's just the cutest little ghost with a little red nose. He actually kind of reflects being little Red Riding Hood. What am I talking about? He actually reflects being Rudolph in the movie, because there's a scene where Sally tries to save Jack from what's probably about to happen, and she purposely makes the sky foggy so he can't get on his sled. Remember, because he's trying to be Santa Claus because he thinks that's what's gonna fill the void within him. And so she tries to make it foggy so he doesn't take off and get himself hurt, but Zero ends up having a little light on his nose, and he ends up being Rudolph for Jack. So that was really cute, and Zero is a really cool character to me because I have a dog too, and my dog means so much to me, so I wanted to make sure that he was definitely part of this build. So you'll notice that his little gravestone is the very middle one up there. I think in the movie his stone is actually next to the house. Actually, it's like a kind of like a dog house kind of mausoleum, I guess you would say. But we changed it a little bit for this build. Really, this build is just to look more iconically Jack Skellington's house, because like I said, I could not recreate that big circle hill that's in the movie where him and Sally kind of, you know, always meet up and whatnot. But I have all the little pet stones, and I was all sad while I was making this because I was just thinking about my dog and like how I'm gonna freaking lose it when his time comes. I would jump out in front of a car for that boy, and that's not healthy, so thank goodness he won't do that, hopefully, ever. But yeah, we're just adding some detail here, and I meticulously go through every single piece and sink them down into the earth just so they look more natural. And then I do that again with some candles, or what are we putting in here? I think it's gonna be, oh man, you guys, I've been talking a lot this time. See, when I'm really passionate about something, I will just keep on going. So, oh good, we're recording. So nervous about that. But yes, now we're going back and putting all of these little lights down into the earth to kind of look at, make it look more natural as well. And then we're gonna go through and put a lot of flowers and a little bit more decor, if I can talk. But yeah, guys, I think I'll go ahead and leave the voice here. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I hope you guys are having an awesome October. I hope your homes are all decorated. And, you know, even though the current situation in our world, I really hope you guys still find time for yourselves and whatnot to have a good Halloween or spooky October. So take care, and I'll see you guys Friday. Bye.